All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive, everyone. We are on episode 8, and guess what? We've made it. The final P in our marketing mix deep dive, and that is place.
Place, the final frontier.
Exactly. So to recap, so far, we've tackled product, we climbed the pricing mountain, and we even navigated that wild world of promotion.
That sounds like quite a journey.
It has been, but now I think the real adventure begins. How do all those products we've been talking about actually get into our hands?
The unsung hero of the marketing mix.
Okay, I like that. The unsung hero. So when we talk about place in marketing, are we just talking about like a store's location?
It's so much more than just a physical location. It's the whole journey, you know?
Okay.
From the moment a product leaves the factory to the second it lands in your shopping cart, whether that's online or in an actual brick-and-mortar store.
All right, so the whole system.
Exactly. The system, the network that ensures products are available exactly when and where you want them. And trust me, it impacts everything from the price you pay to how happy you are with what you buy.
So we are talking like everything from a company's website to those giant supermarket aisles.
Every single step of the way, we'll be exploring all kinds of channels, like direct-to-consumer websites, those big box retail giants.
Oh, yeah.
We'll even use, let's say, a fictional company, BrewBliss. Let's imagine they're like a trendy, eco-conscious coffee brand.
All right, I'm listening. I love coffee.
To illustrate how these channels really work in the real world.
All right, I am ready for this caffeine boost. So let's break it down. What's the most straightforward way for a company to get their product out there?
Well, one option is direct selling, where you completely cut out the middleman.
Oh, interesting.
The producer has a direct link to the customer.
Okay,
Think like buying a Tesla straight from their website or buying an ebook from an author's own platform. It's that one-on-one connection.
So why wouldn't everyone do this? It seems pretty efficient.
Well, it's amazing for building brand loyalty and maximizing profits, but have you thought about the logistics?
What do you mean?
Imagine you're a small company selling handcrafted jewelry online. That direct connection is easy, right?
Yeah.
But what if you're dealing with, like, millions of customers all over complex shipping routes? Things can get really complicated.
I can imagine, yeah. So what happens if a company doesn't want to or can't handle all those individual orders?
Yeah.
What's the alternative?
That's where wholesalers enter the picture. They're like the superheroes of distribution.
Okay.
They buy in bulk from producers and then sell smaller quantities to retailers. You've probably seen those massive warehouses. They're like supermarkets for businesses.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been to those with my family. Almost bought like a year's supply of paper towels.
Exactly. And it's really beneficial for both sides. Producers get to sell large quantities at once, and retailers get access to a ton of different products without having to deal with each producer individually.
Makes sense, yeah. So then where do those retailers, the ones we all shop at, where do they fit into this whole picture?
That's the classic model.
Yeah.
Producer, then the wholesaler, then the retailer, and then finally the customer.
Okay.
Think of your local grocery store. They probably get their products from various wholesalers who got them from who knows how many producers.
It's crazy to think about all the steps to get that milk in my fridge.
I know, right?
Ah.
This model is super convenient for us, and we get tons of choices, but it does add costs at each step. Each player needs to make a profit, and that ultimately shows up in the final price you pay at the register.
Yeah, convenience versus cost. It's always a trade-off. What about those massive retailers, though, like Tesco? Don't they, like, have their own systems?
You're right. These giants, they often bypass the wholesaler completely.
Oh, wow.
They buy directly from producers, which can make things faster and cheaper.
So why wouldn't every big company do this? Is there a downside?
Managing all of that, getting goods from tons of producers, it's a logistical nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
They need gigantic warehouses and very, very complex systems to handle it all. And plus, this much buying power can actually force producers to lower their prices, which squeezes their profits.
So it's like every decision has a ripple effect somewhere else in the chain.
It's a delicate balance.
Fascinating. But we can't forget about the elephant in the room, the internet. Where does e-commerce fit into all of this?
Ah, yes, the digital revolution.
Right.
E-commerce platforms like Amazon and Etsy have completely changed the game. You can buy pretty much anything, anywhere, anytime, just a few clicks away.
So convenient. And I'm definitely guilty of a little late-night online shopping spree.
Who isn't? And it's not just about convenience. It's opened up so many possibilities for businesses and customers.
So what are some of the biggest advantages of this whole digital marketplace?
For businesses, it's way more cost-effective than having a physical store.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't have rent, utilities, or staffing costs.
Right.
And for customers, well, you've got endless choices, easy price comparisons, and you can get things delivered right to your door.
It really does make the world feel smaller. But there must be some downsides, right?
Of course, standing out in that massive online world is a challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You need a really solid online marketing strategy and a super user-friendly website or app. And then there's shipping, especially internationally. That can be a real headache. Please, some people just miss that in-person experience, touching and feeling a product before they buy it.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to try that sweater on.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got e-commerce. But what about that other digital trend, like mobile shopping? Those apps are everywhere now.
Ah, yes, MiCommerce or mobile commerce, all about instant gratification and convenience.
Right.
You can order anything, groceries, concert tickets, all from your phone, wherever you are. And then there's social media integration. It's a marketer's dream.
It's like having a shopping mall right there in your pocket.
Exactly that. But, as with everything, there are downsides. Making a user-friendly app can be super expensive, and security is always a concern when it comes to online payments. Plus, let's be honest, those targeted ads can be a little creepy.
Yeah, a bit too much sometimes. It's amazing how technology has revolutionized how we shop, but it also raises so many new questions and challenges.
It's a double-edged sword.
It definitely sounds like there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to distribution.
Absolutely not. Choosing the right distribution channels is a huge decision for any business.
Right.
There's no magic formula. It all boils down to what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and what the company wants to achieve.
So how does a company like our fictional BrewBliss with their eco-friendly coffee pods, how do they navigate all of this?
They could start by selling directly from their website.
Okay, makes sense.
Build that brand identity, get some loyal customers, maybe offer exclusive blends, subscriptions, encourage repeat business.
Yeah, smart. But not everyone buys coffee online. What about those people who like browsing in stores?
That's where those strategic partnerships come in. Imagine seeing BrewBliss pods beautifully displayed at a high-end supermarket right alongside all the other fancy coffee brands. It instantly elevates their image and gets them in front of a whole new set of customers.
Oh, yeah, totally. But what about all the coffee lovers outside of their delivery zone or even in other countries? How did they get their BrewBliss fix?
That's where the magic of e-commerce comes in.
Oh, okay.
They could set up an online store, partner with international shipping services, reach those coffee enthusiasts all over the world. They could even have different versions of their website for different regions, make it feel more personal.
That's really smart. And what about those super loyal customers, the ones who want to restock their favorite blends quickly and easily?
A BrewBliss mobile app would be perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Order with a few taps, track their deliveries, maybe even earn some rewards points.
Now that's convenient. But wouldn't a company need to, think about a bunch of things before diving into all these different channels?
They absolutely would. What they're selling is key. Think about it. If it's something that needs to be delivered fast, like fresh food, that's different from something that's fragile and needs special handling, or something big and bulky that's expensive to ship.
So, if you're selling fancy chocolates, you probably wouldn't ship them across the country through a super complicated system.
Exactly. You'd want speed and careful handling, maybe local deliveries, or partnering with those boutique shops.
Right.
Now, imagine you're selling a limited edition handbag or a piece of art. That's all about exclusivity and controlling your brand image.
Makes sense.
They might go with direct selling, their own website, or choose a few very select high-end retailers.
So your distribution strategy has to match your brand.
Absolutely. And knowing your target market is crucial. Who are you trying to reach? Where do they shop? What do they like?
So if you're selling trendy sneakers to young people, you better be on social media and mobile apps. That's where they are.
You got it. Meeting your customers where they are, that's the key. And let's not forget, all of this costs money.
Right. Setting up a global distribution network can't be cheap.
Not at all. Warehousing, transportation, marketing, customer service, it all adds up. Companies need to really weigh the pros and cons of each channel and make sure it fits their budget.
Be strategic and realistic.
Exactly. And of course, you've got to keep an eye on the competition. What are they up to?
Yeah.
Are they using new technology? Are they testing out different channels? You have to stay ahead of the game.
So if everyone in your industry is doing mobile apps, you probably should too.
Precisely. This is an ever-changing game, and the winners are those who adapt and evolve. You know what's really interesting? Technology, it's not just creating all these new channels, it's kind of blurring the lines between the old ones, too.
Oh, really? Like how? I'm curious.
Well, think about, have you ever used one of those click and collect services?
Yeah, actually all the time.
You browse online, order your stuff, then just swing by the store and grab it.
So convenient.
Right. It's like the best of both worlds. You get the ease of online shopping, but you also get that instant gratification of having the product right there in your hands. Or have you ever bought something directly from a brand's, like, Instagram posts?
Oh, yeah. Those shoppable posts are everywhere now. It's like the whole online world is one giant store.
Exactly. It's fascinating how it's all evolving.
Yeah.
So we've talked about what these distribution channels are, but let's dig a little deeper. Why would a company pick one channel over another, or maybe decide to use a bunch of them?
All right, let's get strategic. What are the key things a company needs to think about when making these decisions?
Well, first off, they got to think about the product itself. What is it? Is it something that needs to be delivered quickly, like fresh food? Is it delicate, needs special handling? Or is it something big and bulky that's going to cost a fortune to ship?
So if you're selling something fragile, like fancy handmade chocolates, you probably wouldn't want to send them across the country through a complicated system.
Exactly. You need speed, you need careful handling. Maybe you focus on local deliveries or partner with those little boutique shops.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What about if you're selling something exclusive, something luxurious, like a designer handbag or a piece of art?
Then it's all about control, right? Protecting that brand image.
Yeah.
You might go for direct selling on your own website or choose a few very carefully selected high-end retailers.
So it's like aligning your distribution with how you want people to see your brand.
Exactly. And that's where knowing your target market is super important. Who are you trying to reach? Where do they shop? What do they like?
Right, so if you're selling the latest sneakers to teenagers, you better be on social media and mobile apps. That's where they are.
You nailed it. You got to be where your customers are, speak their language. Oh, and let's not forget, money talks. Costs play a huge role in all of this.
Yeah, I imagine building a global network can get really expensive.
You bet it can. Warehousing, transportation, marketing, customer service, it all adds up fast. Companies need to be smart and realistic about what they can afford and what fits their budget.
So be strategic with your resources.
Absolutely. And of course, always keep an eye on the competition. What are they doing? Are they using new technologies, trying out different channels? You got to keep up and stay ahead.
So if everyone in your industry is launching a mobile app, you might need to do the same.
Exactly. It's a constantly changing game, and the companies that adapt, they're the ones who survive.
Okay, so we've talked about the different channels, the things companies need to consider, but what does success actually look like in this whole distribution world?
That's a great question, and it really depends on the company and their goals. But I'd say one big indicator is customer satisfaction. Think about it. Are you happy when you get something on time, it's in good condition, and the company provides good customer service?
Absolutely. A good experience makes all the difference.
Exactly. And from a business perspective, efficiency is key. Are you making the most of your distribution channels to minimize costs and maximize profits?
So finding that balance between meeting customer needs and making sure your business is running smoothly and profitably.
You got it. It's a bit of a juggling act that requires careful planning, analyzing data, and constantly adapting.
And technology probably plays a big role in all of this, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing incredible advancements in inventory management, real-time shipment tracking, and even AI that can predict demand. Technology is changing how companies manage their whole distribution network.
It's crazy to think about all the stuff happening behind the scenes just to get a product into my hands.
Right, and with technology changing so fast, the future of distribution is going to be really interesting.
So what does this mean for businesses going forward? What do they need to do to thrive in this, super complex world?
Well, they need to really embrace that customer-centric mindset. It's not just about getting products out the door. It's about creating a smooth and enjoyable experience for the customer every step of the way.
So understanding their journey and making it as easy and pleasant as possible.
Precisely. That means really understanding all those different channels, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and using them in a way that puts the customer first.
So be strategic, use data, and be ready to adapt. It sounds like place is just as important as product, price and promotion.
You're absolutely right. It's the often unseen force that shapes our shopping experiences and connects producers and consumers in this huge global marketplace.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've covered so much today, from the basics of distribution channels to the strategic decisions that drive success in this crazy landscape. But before we wrap up, I have one more question for you.
Hit me with it.
If you could give one piece of advice to businesses trying to figure out this whole place thing, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to shake things up a bit. The world of distribution is ripe for disruption. New technology, customers who are always changing, and evolving markets create opportunities for those who are willing to think outside the box.
So don't just follow the crowd. Be bold, be innovative, and be ready to try new things.
Exactly. Experiment with new models, look for unusual partnerships, and be willing to take a few risks. You never know what might work.
That's some great advice. As we wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating world of place, is there any final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with? Something to think about as they navigate this ever-changing landscape?
I would say this. The future of distribution is all about creating seamless, personalized, and memorable experiences for your customers. It's not just about getting the product from point A to point B. It's about making that journey as enjoyable and memorable as possible.
Yeah, it's more than just logistics. It's about connecting with the customer on a deeper level.
For sure. And that's what makes this whole area so exciting. We're seeing so much innovation. Think personalized recommendations, subscription services, even stuff like augmented reality and delivery drones.
It sounds like the sky's the limit. What do you think are some of the biggest trends that are shaping the future of distribution?
Well, one big one is this idea of hyper-personalization.
Okay.
Companies are using data and AI to really understand what individual customers like and then tailor their experience.
So instead of seeing those generic ads or endless product pages, I might get suggestions based on what I actually like and need.
Exactly. It's like they're trying to predict what you want even before you know you want it. And then there's this increasing demand for sustainability and knowing where things come from.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that myself. I'm way more likely to buy from a company that's open about their supply chain and is trying to reduce their impact on the environment.
Consumers are definitely becoming more aware of the impact of their choices. They want companies to be responsible.
It's not just about the product anymore. It's about the values behind it.
Absolutely. And of course, technology is going to continue to disrupt the whole world of distribution.
Yeah, so
We're already seeing things like automation and robotics in those huge warehouses and fulfillment centers.
right.
And with AI getting smarter all the time, we can expect even more advanced systems that can optimize routes, predict demand, and personalize that customer journey even further.
Wow, so technology is going to make things even faster and more efficient.
Absolutely. Oh, and we can't forget about all the new business models popping up. There are platforms that connect local producers directly with customers, cutting out the middleman altogether. And then there are subscription services for, well, everything.
Yeah, it seems like there's a subscription for almost anything these days. It's amazing how technology is opening up all these new possibilities for both businesses and customers.
It really is.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into place, what are your thoughts? What are some companies that are doing distribution really well, in your opinion?
That's a good question. Which ones are creating those seamless, personalized, memorable experiences for you?
Yeah, and what trends are you most excited to see develop in the future?
It's a fascinating time to be watching it all unfold.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an amazing journey through the world of place. We've learned about the different channels, the key things to consider, and all the exciting innovations that are shaping the future of retail.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's been a fun exploration.
I've learned a lot. A huge thank you to all our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into the fourth P of marketing. And of course, a big thanks to Google Notebook LM for the audio and AI assistance in creating this episode.
This has been a Peel Strategy production.